Is China a communist country? To answer this question, I'd like to ask you first. If a country's private sector contributes 60% of the GDP and accounts for 80% of employment, is it a communist country? Well, that's the China the World Bank described in 2023. And the most famous Chinese businessman, Jack Ma, was once the richest, the founder of Alibaba. And the most famous Chinese company, Huawei, is a private company too. How can you call China a communist country then? As of 2024, China's urbanization rate exceeds 65%, with a massive middle class estimated at about 400 million people, more than the entire population of the United States. And Chinese people consume 32 million cars annually. That's twice as many as the US. Doesn't this differ greatly from the classless society envisioned by traditional communism? The prices, investments, and production of goods in China are largely determined by the market, not by the central planning. So it's far from a planned economy. Even Western scholars, at most, describe China as authoritarian capitalism or state capitalism rather than traditional communism, because China's economic openness and the role of private enterprises are seriously inconsistent with what communism describes. In fact, China calls itself a socialist country with Chinese characteristics. Our long-term goal is to achieve the communist vision, but we are currently in the primary stage of socialism, which requires a long time to develop productive forces, thus allowing a market economy and certain capitalist elements. As for achieving the long-term goal of communism, that might be 500 years from now on. You see, when I was in school, my textbook said China would remain in the primary stage of socialism for at least 100 years, followed by a transitional phase. That makes another 400 years or something like that. China's official goal is common prosperity, but in reality, we haven't achieved common prosperity yet because current productivity is insufficient. This is why China keeps investing in infrastructure. Follow me for more insights.